Hello everyone, I am Pavani Pocharam from TSWREIS, Vikarabad. First of all, let me wish my warm greetings to all honorable dignitaries and my near and dear Swaro viewers. So today, before going to initiate our class, let me start this class with a small story. Here, the story begins with a mama cat and baby cat who lives in a den in a big forest. One day, a cunning fox comes to their living place to snatch the baby cat. So here, the mama cat and baby cat somehow get to know that cunning fox had come to snatch them. So they get panic and they started thinking to escape from the cunning fox. So the mama cat got an idea which made the fox ran away from their living place. So what she did was, the mama cat started roaring like a tiger instead cat. So what happened? This fox thought that it may be tiger's den and it started running away from that place. So now the mama cat and baby cat are very happy for that, and if we see into the conclusion and moral of this story, here I want to tell that here if we have enough skills, if we have more skills in order to overcome, understand and solve the problems around us, we need to have extra skills, and that skills will make us to live good life in our future. So here I have a special skill with me, that is a concept which will be help you to take correct decisions in your lives. So let me start with a interesting question. So here on the screen there are two scenarios, right? So first one is image of the Hyderabad and the second one is image of the New Delhi. So here if we observe, the average per square feet cost in Hyderabad is around 6,435 rupees, whereas in Delhi it is 16,000. So my question is that if you have enough money to invest in these two places, which place we do choose to invest? And that is my question. So give the answer for this question. The data on the screen is not enough. So we need to have extra information. So put it aside and let me continue with my second question. Here, if I go to a layman and if I start asking like this, what were the changes in the mobile industry since past 5 years? He simply says that there is a big change in the mobile industry, or he simply says that there are several changes in the mobile industry, or else he says that there are multiple changes in the mobile industry. But here the layman, he is unable to quantify the words which he is using, like large, big, vast changes. So here to quantify such type of words we need to have a tool, and here I am with you to explain about that beautiful tool. So before going into that explanation of that tool, let me go with the second slide, and here see on the screen we are able to see a graph on the screen. So here the graph is explaining us that there is since 2014 to 2020 there is continuously growth in the mobile industry. So how can we know that? If we have the information from 2014 to 2020, then we will be able to know, and then we will be able to give conclusion about that particular field. So today here my topic is, before going into my topic, just let me tell something about the tool. Here this tool is used to measure the changes in the economic field, and today the concept is why index numbers are called as economic barometers. Here the tool we are using is nothing but index number. If we observe on the screen, there are three words. First one is index numbers, and the second one is economics, and the third one is barometer. And we know that index number comes under statistics and economics comes under commerce, and whereas this barometer is quite different from index number and economics. So here why index numbers are called as economic barometer is our question. So let me give detailed explanation about the index number, and at last we will came to know that why index number is called as economic barometer. So let me move into the next slide for further information. See, in this whole session, we will be discuss introduction of index number and definition of index number, characteristics of index number, classification of index number, construction, uses, methods, and we will solve a small problem regarding to the index numbers. And now here on the screen we have three major words. So here statistics, economics and index numbers. These three are very important words in our world. So let me give brief explanation about the statistics. What actually statistics is? Statistics is a process. In that process we will collect the data from wherever it is, but that data should be reliable, and we will collect the data and we will classify the data, then we will analyze the data. After analyzing the data, we will interpret it, and last we will give conclusion to that particular data. And now coming to the economics, here the word economics is knowledge concerned with the two major words. Those are consumption and interpretation, consumption and distribution. So here economics means consumption and distribution. Here there are certain words which will be regularly used under the economics, such as productions, imports, exports, agriculture productions, industrial productions, and different prices of different commodities. So here statistics is very different when compared to the economics, even though they are interrelated with the tool is called as index number. So what exactly index number do? What the work of the index number in the field of economics? So here index number is a measure which will be used to measure the changes in the economic field. So economic field in the sense, it may be in the agriculture field, it may be in the stock market, it may be the census, or it may be any field which comes under the economics. And here by taking information from the index number, we will be able to take decisions, and that is the reason here index number is also called as decision making tool. What? Decision making tool. So the another name of index number is nothing but decision making tool. So let me go with next slide for further information. So here we should know the characteristics of index number, otherwise we will be unable to express or we will be unable to calculate of index number. So here there are majorly three characteristics have for the index numbers. First one is specialized averages, and the second one is it measures the change in the level of phenomena, and the third one is it measures the effect of changes over a period of time. So let me discuss one by one. First, specialized average. What specialized average? Actually, what is average? So we know that average is nothing but it measures the average of the given data. Here in general, in statistics we have different types of averages. For example, mean, median, mode, harmonic mean, geometric mean. So these are averages which we know generally, but here index number is also a specialized average. But here when we are unable to get the solution from these 5 index number, then we will go with the index numbers. So when we are unable to get the solution with these 5 averages, we will go with the index numbers. So let me give a small example for, so let us discuss about the second one. Here it measures the change in the level of phenomena. We discussed till now that index number will measure the change in economics field, right? So economics is very dynamic in the nature. So the economic will be changed by every day, every month, every week and every year. So what happens here, we need to know the changes in the economics field, right? For example, let me clear this with an example. Let us consider rainy season and winter season. So in the rainy season, the umbrella sold number will be very big when compared to winter season. Here the change is there between rainy season and winter season, and that's the reason to measure such type of changes in the economic field, we will use index number as a tool. And the next one is, it measures the effect of change over a period of time. See, let me tell a small example for this. So here in 2000 everyone are used to use books, right? But no one are using books today in today's generation. They are simply operating in the front of systems, computers. So here the change is there between 2000 and 2020. So to measure such type of changes also, we'll use index number as our tool. And next, let me make you clear about the classification of the index numbers. Here, index numbers majorly classified into three types. And the first one is price index number, and the second one is quantity index number, and the third one is value index number. So we have to know about the classification of index number. If we don't know the classification of index number, we will be unable to find out the index number of that particular field. So let me go with price index number. So here the name in the price index number itself is suggesting us that it deals with the prices of the commodities. So here what price index number does is, it measures the changes in the prices of goods and commodities. Here what are the goods and commodities? Nothing but rice, wheat, petrol, house rent, whatever it is, whatever we are using in our daily life are known as commodities. So here what price index exactly what the work of price index is, it deals with the prices of the commodities. It takes the current year, I mean 2020, now the current year is 2020, right? So it takes the previous or any year, previous year as base year, and it compares the difference between that last year and this year. So let me clear this also with a beautiful example. See on the screen, there are two types of pens are there. So the first pens are only 5 rupees in 2000 year. But whereas in the next pen, that is 20 rupees cost, that is in 2020. So there is difference in the prices of the commodities, and that's the reason to measure these such type of changes, we will use price index number. And next example, see, in 1980 we used to get the cup of tea for only 5 rupees, but in 1990 we was getting for 50 rupees. So it is increasing from 1980 to 2010. So here the quantity of the item is remained constantly, but whereas price is increasing. So to measure the changes in these types of goods, we'll just simply use as price index number. And let me go with the next slide, that is quantity index number. So here the name itself is suggesting that it deals with the quantity of the commodities. So let me make you clear this also with a example. Here if we observe in 2000, in the year of 2000, for 100 rupees we used to get 1000 grams of sugar. But now, not now, in 2010, we were just getting only 500 grams. So here the price 100 is remained constant, but the quantity of the sugar is decreased. See, if we observe, here in 2000 it was 100 grams, whereas in 2010 it's just 500 grams. So, and now in 2020, for that same 100 rupees, we were just getting 250 grams. So here what if we observe in this example, here the price is remained same, but the quantity of the commodity is decreasing. So to measure the changes in these types of goods, we will just simply use quantity index number. And the next, that is last one in the classification of index number. Here on the screen we are able to see a mobile phone, right? So I think in 2000 this Nokia mobile was used by 90% of the people of the country. But now very rarely the people who are living in the villages are only using these Nokia phones. That means the value of the Nokia phone was decreased from 90 to just 10%. So here what happening? The value of the Nokia phone was increased or decreased? It totally decreased. That means, so here the different types of phones had came into the market, and that's the reason the value of the Nokia phone was decreased. So if we observe here, the value is decreasing or increasing is put it aside, and here the point is that if we want to calculate the index number for these types of values, we'll use value index number. And next, so here till now we discussed about the classification of index numbers, right? So we discussed price index number, quantity index number and value index number. But we need to know that how to construct the index number. If we don't know how to construct an index number, what is the use of learning all these things? So we should know the construction of the index number. So here in the construction of index number, there are 7 types, 7 steps are there. So let me go with step by step, and the first step is purpose of index number. So here first thing is we need to know the purpose of the index number. That means we should know that for what we are constructing index number, whether it is for price or whether it is per quantity or whether it is per value. So we should know the purpose of the index number, and that step will impact on entire calculation of the index number. So we should be very careful while constructing index number. So the next one is selection of commodities. So here let me give an example for this. So if I want to construct an index number for electrical goods, which type of goods I need to select? So here I have to select the goods which are related with electricity. For example, electrical fan or electrical tube light or electrical TV or electrical computer. So such type of goods I need to select. If I select the goods like a bottle or a book, there will be no meaning in the construction of index numbers. So we have to select the commodities which should be very close to the topic for what we are constructing. That should be very relative. And the next one is data for index number. Here, to construct an index number, we have to gather data from different types of magazines, articles, or it may be from TV, or it may be from any systems. So but here the point is that data must be reliable, and it should be very accurate, and it should be approved by the government, whatever the government is there. So here the problem with the construction of index number is selection of base year. That is our fourth step. So while selecting the base year, and you know that what is base year. So let me tell first of all what is actually base year. So if I am comparing the relation between 2 years, so the current year, present year which I am taking is known as current year, and the year which is I am comparing, that is previous year, is nothing but base year. So here while selecting the base year, we must be very careful. So in the construction, in the selection of the base year, there are 2 instructions we must follow. And the first one is, while selecting the base year, the base year should be free from all types of abnormalities. It should be free from wars, and it should be free from political issues, and it should be free from floods and earthquakes. It should be free from all such type of epidemics. So here, and the second step is, it should not be very far from the current year. It should be very close. So the first instruction, that is it should be free from abnormalities. Let me give a small explanation. So we all know that French Revolution, right? So French Revolution was from 1789 to 1799. So in between these 2 years there is no stability in the economic of that country. So here the 1789 and 1799 we should not consider it as a base year, because the economics of that time was not correct. So that's it maybe gives the wrong information about the current year. And let me tell one more example. So in Japan in 2011 there was a big earthquake, right? So if we want to construct an index number for the economics of Japan, we should not consider 2011 as base year. Why? Because in that year there was a big earthquake. So while selecting the base year, we must be very careful. And the second thing is, it should not be very far from the current year. Generally, we'll calculate the population census for every 10 years, right? So in 2011, our country's population was 1.27 billions, and now in 2020 it is 1.37 billions. So here in the selection of base year there are two methods. First one is fixed base method and the second one is chain based method. Let me give some small information about the fixed based method and chain based method. So in fixed based method, what we will do is we will select an year, and that year will be fixed as a base year, and further more years we will use, for all these years we will use the fixed base year as a base year. And whereas in chain based year we will use the base year as the previous year of the current year. For example, for 2020, 2019 will be the chain based year. For 2019, 2018 will become as base year in chain based method. So here in the census, it will be very easy if we follow fixed based method. Why? Because it is very difficult to calculate for each and every year, right? So it will be easy to follow the fixed base year in the calculation of census. And the next step is selection of average. Here generally in the construction of index number, we will use three major averages as average. Here if we see, there are three types of averages in the construction are used in the construction of index numbers. First one is geometric mean, and the second one is arithmetic mean, and third one is median. But here geometric mean is very best one to calculate, to construct an index number. Why? Because it is not affected by the extreme values, and it is it gives very accurate result, and it is not affected by the extreme values. So whereas in the average arithmetic mean, it will be affected by the extreme values. So what happens here, even geometric mean is very best to construct an index number, we will go with arithmetic mean, because arithmetic mean is very easy to calculate and it is very frequently used by everyone. So here, and median is, we will use median very often. And the next step is selection of formula. Here the problem with construction of index number is selection of formula. Here there are plenty of formulas in the index numbers. Laplace formula, Patch's formula, Dorbish formula, Fisher's formula. So like this, many formulas are there. So according to the given data, we need to select a formula, and then based on that formula we have to construct an index number. And this is a procedure to construct an index number. And think of a second, if there is no index number, what will happen? So if we want to calculate anything in the world, we need to have an index number. So here, suppose imagine that there is a big company and that company won't follow index number. What will happen? They can't estimate the achievements of that particular country. So it may be leads to the recession in that particular company. So each and everyone should know the construction of index number, and they have to implement index number in their real lives. And next, let me go with next one, that those are methods of index numbers. Here there are two major types of index numbers. The first one is unweighted index number and the second one is a weighted index number. So here if we observe, if we go with unweighted index numbers, there will be equal importance among the commodities. So here on the picture there are two scenarios, right? First one is cloth and the second one is house. So here to survive a family, these two things are very necessary, and that's the reason there will be equal importance among these two pictures. So here no need of assigning weightages to each and every commodity. And the next one is weighted index number. Here in weighted index number there will be not equal importance among the commodities. For example, let us take rice and petroleum. If a family want to survive, rice is very necessary thing, but petrol is not. So that is the reason there is no equal importance among the rice and petroleum. So here we need to assign the weightage to the commodities according to their importance. So these are the two major methods in the construction of index number, and these two methods will be very important. And the next one is there are many types of index numbers. So among them we will discuss about just 5 or 6 important types of index numbers. The first one is wholesale price index number. So wholesale price index number will be used to find the changes in the wholesale commodities. And the next one is retail price index. So here the name itself is suggesting us that retail price index number will be used to find the changes in the retailed commodities or retailed goods. And the next one, coming to the next one, cost of living index numbers. So here the cost of living of different types of people will be calculated by the cost of living index number. In our society there are lower income people, middle income people and higher income people. So for that we have index numbers to construct each and every type of index number. And let me go with uses of index numbers. Index numbers are used in so many ways. It may be used in stock market, it may be used in agriculture field, it will be used to find the volume of trend, and it is used to access the purchasing power of money and so many ways. Here what index number exactly is doing, it is measuring the changes in the economic field. So here if we go with the first slide, here we are calling index number as economic barometer, right? So why economic barometer means, here barometer is measuring the changes in the atmospheric pressures. Same like as barometer, economics is index number is measuring the changes in the economics field, and it is working like a barometer, and that is the reason we are called it as an economic barometer. And without index number there will be no uses there will be no improvement in the development of our country. So let me conclude with the last one statement, that is, we should not fail while planning, and that maybe leads to planning for failing. So my suggestion to all of you is, don't fail to plan and don't plan to fail. And if you have any questions regarding to this concept, you can just refer these two references on the screen. There are two references. You can go with these two references, then you will be able to tell the whole concept about the index numbers. And I just want to say thank you to the Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar IPS, and who is the inspiration and motivation, and he is a God given gift to all of us. And I also want to tell thank you to my principal madam, Dr. Vanachata madam, and I also want to tell thanks to my mentor madam, P. Monica madam. And let me hope to happen certain sort of things for the development of our country. And my advice is, please follow index numbers and make your lives beautiful. And thank you so much.